And welcome back everyone to Fall Series Korea as we go into our third match of the day. We're all filled up, ready to go, as this is a very important one, as every single match, it does stack, as we do have the round robin between the groups, and more wins, better for you to eventually advance into the playoff with a better spot. But once you hit that, I think the big mark is if you have 2 losses, you are very close to be not making it to that top 3.
Yeah, so I think the threshold is going to be, well, at least 3 wins is going to almost guarantee you a spot. Well, I think it should be able to guarantee you a spot, and the teams with 2 wins should be kind of...
depending on the numbers.
Yeah, I think then you have to go to map differentials, right? And then if you have 1, then sadly you probably won't be able to make the cut.
Won't be enough.
Yeah, so I think in that sense, this next matchup is going to be really, really important because Dreamers is at 1-0 and EUPHORIA is currently at 0-1. So definitely, Dreamers with the expectations that with the weight of the name that Dreamers hold right now, they definitely want to end it week 1 with a 2-0, and EUPHORIA, they definitely want a clean slate because 1-1 would be I think they would be happy with a 1-1 instead of when you start out week 2.
Yeah, especially like these two going against each other. Dreamers with Pink and Unicorn versus EUPHORIA. No other icons and just dark theme. It's like light theme versus dark theme.
Yeah, so this is probably a lot of fans would be very familiar with this name. Dreamers was a very, very strong team, not just in Contenders, but also in the Overwatch League knockouts as well. This team knocked out so many Overwatch League teams. They won against the Guangzhou Charge. They won against the Shanghai Dragons, like some of the best teams that you can ever name. And they were so close. Dreamers was actually this very close to make it all the way into playoffs for the Overwatch League. But, well, here they are, and they're going against EUPHORIA here.
Yep, an opponent that you can always count on, but they certainly do want to grab that 1 win. But today, it might be a little bit hard against Dreamers, who has such a big stacked roster. You see, Doomfist actually not actually from Sungjun, who did go back and forth between the DPS and the tank just yesterday.
Yeah, Sungjun was like very surprisingly very impressive on the Doomfist tank.
Oh yeah,
especially on Lijiang Tower yesterday. But Sungjun is definitely a DPS player, very also prominent DPS player as well. Sungjun has been also in the Dynasty and on OT Blatt, so definitely a very high-class player.
Onto NA Contenders as well. Now in Korea Contenders. What is this guy doing here now? He's actually Doomfist just moving all over the place. We'll see how EUPHORIA does against this stacked roster of Dreamers, as not just Sungjun, Minute as whole. Yeah, this roster actually has a whole lot of experience in terms of the different teams that you can name for all of them.
So, first map is going to be Antarctic Peninsula. So, we've also seen a little bit of Antarctic Peninsula yesterday. I think it's still going to be, for Dreamers, I think it's definitely going to be another Zarya meta, Zarya comp. And for EUPHORIA, probably the same. So, we might be seeing a mirror matchup, which, surprisingly, we haven't been seeing a lot today.
Basically, maybe for a few minutes, including both of the matches that we had today, since we had specific teams just targeting Zarya, Genji comp most of the time. But coming into these 2 teams, as you have mentioned, maybe we'll see that mirror matchup.
So for Dreamers, it's definitely gonna be, I think, Zarya, because if you want to play Orisa, maybe it would probably have been Dreamer coming out for the side of Dreamers. So Jasmine coming in. Let's talk about Jasmine a little bit, because Jasmine is a new introduction to Dreamers. The traditional off-tank player for Dreamers was formerly for Leader, and he's currently no longer with the team. Jasmine is also a very interesting player because he also has a lot of history on SLT, formerly in Contenders as well. So this player is not like a new face on the block, new kid on the block. Okay, so we're not going to get a mirror matchup.
Yeah, Jasmine on Zarya, but EUPHORIA does have Orisa here along with Soldier. 76, but here's a long-range contest.
So this is going to be almost like the first match that we had today. So EUPHORIA has a little bit of more range. Dreamers wants to send Dart, Genji in and harass, while Jasmine gets the energy needed to push back Groom out. So EUPHORIA, if they want, the win condition for EUPHORIA is that they make the first pick out of range. And this is exactly what they do. So they will be making their first push towards the point, and they will probably make the first cap.
Yeah, especially with the compounder design. And Groom, by the way, means cloud in Korean. And they did have a lot more positioned ways, as Dart early on wanted to get some picks onto Soldier, but was able to retreat back into the full forest early. The Dreamers not really successful in their first push.
Okay, now Dreamers, it's Dreamers' time to try to make the offensive. And Dreamers, what they need to do, their win condition, is to send Dart and have Jasmine farm energy and put the icing on the cake. They want to take out either Illari or the Baptiste. And they have to do that quick because Narn already has that and Matrix.
It's down. And here's the Matrix from EUPHORIA.
Okay, but Sad actually was able to take out Groom, so Dreamers will be having that numbers advantage. And
that
as a fall fell as well. So it's going to be a flip for the side of Dreamers.
Oh, EUPHORIA, did they use a little too much on that fight for nothing?
Yeah, so they depleted both of their support ultimates. And Dreamers is going to have the Dragon Blade ready. So unless EUPHORIA can make a pick on Dart, I think this fight's going to the side. I think Dreamers has the upper hand on this fight as well.
Yeah, by far. Unless Jun on Faction can do some amazing work, do some damage, but here's a blade from Dart.
Oh,
immediately
shut down on Dart!
EUPHORIA, your moment to shine.
Not just yet. So Jasmine is so close to getting that Graviton Surge, but to be honest, like at that point where Dart's already down, and I don't think it was worth using it anyways. So should probably use that for the retake. EUPHORIA does have Terra Surge. Data should be able to counter that with a sound barrier. And then after that, Jasmine probably wants to win the fight with the Graviton Surge, but not if Dart's fallen down. This is what EUPHORIA wants to do, so they understand their win conditions perfectly, and they're executing it.
A lot of pressure on Dart, certainly, as your entire team is relying so much on you to do most of the damage.
Sad wants to use that artillery for zoning purposes.
Okay, Matrix up early on for both sides, actually.
So no key ultimates used yet. Yes, both of them use their amp matrixes, but Sad is the first one to fall, and it's overtime, so they need to use whatever they need. Dreamers need to use whatever they need to use. However, not enough, not fast enough. EUPHORIA takes round one, and wow, I thought Dreamers was the pre-match favorites, and EUPHORIA is making a shout.
As EUPHORIA does have a pretty big roster. Maybe this was entirely set for them. And certainly for now, that's one Terra Surge that you would love to see towards the end of the game. Groom's Orisa keeping himself alive right next to that wall mostly. And Dart, I have to say I wasn't too impressed from Dart's Genji so far.
Yeah, so Dart was a very unfortunate. I think he was very unfortunate. Like on the first round, he did have his opportunity to use the blade. It was shut down immediately, and after that, to be honest, he didn't have a lot of opportunities, like team opportunities as a team to do anything. But that's the weight of the Genji player on the Zarya composition. Yes, things might not be in favor of you, but you still have to make it happen. So Dart definitely wants to make it up this round. And EUPHORIA, it's the same win conditions for the first round. They have the upper hand in terms of range. They don't have the Genji. So they want to make the picks first, but low health bars all around the board means that Dreamers have the upper hand in this fight.
Yeah, Dreamers in terms of neutral fights, getting the win, starting with a kill from Sad, I believe. And some really high numbers already for his 80. Start mission, very close to it.
So EUPHORIA right now is kind of concerning, but not too much, because they still have that pick potential. They always have that pick potential, and also TPing out of the range of the Genji. So if the Genji approaches them, they can always TP out. But the point will be, Dreamers is approaching a point where they will be having ultimates, and if they, whether they can use it and make meaningful kills, will be the turning point. And Saad doesn't even need an ultimate to take out Narang, and I think this is going to be yet another one for Dreamers.
The early loss, Narang and Orisa crew gone. Oh, some trading kills though from Sungjun and Sierra. Dreamers still holding 4 ultimates.
Saad is on a rampage right now. I mean, Saad, he was also on SLT and TDI. This player, I think he's one of the most underrated players in Contenders right now. I single-handedly believe, I have no doubt that this player is able to contest with even some of the Overwatch League players. And
okay, there's the rating from Unknown. Take him into your own hands. That's Saad for Dreamers. 4 ults up.
So EUPHORIA is the first to use the ults. They need to zone out. They want to use the photon barrier to zone out Dreamers. So they happen to make that flip. Dreamers should be pretty happy because they just baited out an ult, because they know that they can afford to give away some ult percentage. And there is that Dart ultimate.
Late in the room and was able to catch a lot more with the help of his teammates so far.
A lot better performance from Dart compared to the first round. Yes, they did use a lot of ultimates, but knowing that this is final fight territory for EUPHORIA and Jasmine, what Dreamers is probably thinking of is that they want to be a little bit far forward, and they can just use the Graviton Surge to get people, to prevent people from even touching the point.
Finally, Dreamers, both of their DPS play the same game. They're off by a little bit. Here's Winston plus Reaper from EUPHORIA.
Sungjun down. Jasmine is also down too, but Astra is down. A lot more members on the side of Dreamers.
Dart and Sad. Yeah, the entire team wipe. EUPHORIA thought it was possible for a moment, but immediately after the touch, the Graviton grabs all of them basically. And from that moment, it's DPS to do the work. I mean, that's your job, to put out that output. And once that was basically all she wrote.
Well, like precisely for this round specifically, I think Dreamers played this really by the book. They, again, knew what their win conditions were. And for EUPHORIA, like what was different for round 1 was that on round 1, EUPHORIA was able to make early picks because that was how they win this fight. But failing to, like, playing a composition where they need to they're outranging the opponent, but is weaker when the opponent closes in. They need to make picks or at least damage the opponent to the point where they would be in an advantageous situation when they're in a fight, close range fight. But Dreamers was able to close that distance without getting too much damage, and they just won the round.
Yep, now 1-1 apiece. Long range again as EUPHORIA still sustaining, not bad, and starts is quickly picked off after trying to grab him to kill on Soldier, but you find yourself dead. And that'll be EUPHORIA still keeping a... Now, you do have to come out eventually from the room. Oh no, as Dreamers will actually take a lot more advantage keeping that high ground.
So EUPHORIA caps point first, but a lot of damage, a lot of pressure on Groom and Aster, meaning that it's going to be a quick flip for the side of Dreamers. Only 10% lead for EUPHORIA, and I think that's going to just get... I think Dreamers is going to just, you know, flip that over real quick. already 7%, 8%, and Dreamers is going to take the lead here. And EUPHORIA, one thing to look about is the Zenyatta pick that we don't really see as often. I think the idea is that it offers more poke, and the Discord puts a lot of more pressure on Dart, who may be single-handed, or be the only one being in their faces. However, currently, it looks like Dreamers is answering to the threat.
Yeah, it's
really
just
well.
Jasmine now.
Yes, the flip is there. Really interestingly. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Jasmine lives.
Almost being able to kill, but it's gonna stop right there. And look for that flip, Dreamers. The Graviton catching a few. Just for the delay, mostly.
I think that was really important because it was a point where Dreamers was needed to finish the cap for the flip. And yes, of course, it would have been better if Jasmine kind of, had a lot more members and led to a lot more kills. But in the end, they got what they came here for.
3 and 4.
A lot of ultimates on both sides.
Vlog is here, sad. Win.
Okay, EUPHORIA won this fight, but I think Dreamers will be very happy with this. Yes, both sides used a lot of ultimates. Dreamers still has Dart's Dragon Blade, and the only hindrance from the only threat on Dart would be the Transcendence. But the Transcendence is expended right now, so Dart only has to be careful about getting one shot after probably maybe the Soldier, maybe? So Dart is, yes, Dart has that pressure of having to make this work, but I think it should be able to work.
Here's Blade. Onto the back line. Vitality Field kept him alive for such a long time, but still, doesn't matter.
It took him a while, but it still is able to finish the job, and with that flip, it's going to be the question of whether EUPHORIA can touch.
Sierra also taken down very late. Dreamer should be having the point, as no one else can come for the touch. As they're way too far away with that Lucio. Dreamer does end up grabbing the first map.
Yeah, so EUPHORIA actually put up a pretty good fight. I mean, this map was really closer than I thought it would be, but in the end, I think Dreamers had control over the game. Jasmine, really impressive performance on the Zarya. Yes, EUPHORIA was I think the Orisa composition was okay, but in the end, I think Dreamers had enough faith in their DPS players to the point that they weren't really concerned. So EUPHORIA, they put up a composition. It's kind of like the Zero match where EUPHORIA needed to. Their win condition requires to make an early pick, and it's kind of a gamble because if they succeed, they have an advantage. But if they don't, they're at a they're really behind, especially in those fights.
And EUPHORIA, certainly that didn't really turn out to be their favor in the first map. Let's see if it's possible with the upcoming map, because as a losing team from the first map, they will have that choice. And when we come back, we'll have that map number 2. And welcome back, everyone. So far, the storyline has been from All Series Korea, at least for today. Man, can you beat that Zarya Genji, or can you beat with that Zarya Genji? Because sometimes Orisa is enough, sometimes Sigma, sometimes others like Reinhardt, Doomfist. There are other tanks. Zarya seems to be okay when it's working, but she feels like she's kind of not working against it with the team when you just don't have the teamwork.
Yeah, so for Dreamers right now, this is definitely the case when you're working. Because I think for the win conditions for the Zarya comp, I think there needs to be 2 prerequisites. One meaning that you have to have confidence in your Genji, and number 2, your Zarya is actually good enough to take advantage of the high energy that you have. And I think for Dreamers, both of them are working really well. And for EUPHORIA, I think yes, the Orisa poke comp kind of worked on round 1, but once they started giving a little bit of effective range to Dreamers, it just fell apart for them. And so Euphoria's pick is going to be King's Row. This is what we saw on match 2 as well. I think this is a very reasonable choice, especially since if Dreamers was like, if they understood, I think Euphoria is like, hey, I understand that you're pretty good at the Genji and Zarya comp, so we want to pick a map that is not so favorable for the Zarya, because like we've mentioned previously, Zarya doesn't have the best high ground control, and for especially on point A, if you want to attack King's Row with a Genji Zarya, you just have to send your Genji with the Lucio maybe, and then hope that the Zarya barrier is going to be enough to keep them not just alive, but also flush out the defending forces on the second floor.
That's what we were guessing for Dreamers to come up with, but as they might just chance. Well, never mind. They might just keep it exactly the same.
Okay, but we
seems
do
like it so
have
far.
a change. I was about to mention this because the Chop Dragon car Genji is online for the side of Dreamers, because Dart did a very good job on Antarctic Peninsula as well, but Top Dragon has a lot of history on this pick. Like to be honest, if you think of Genji on Dreamers, you think of Top Dragon first, right?
Okay.
So this is something that I've been really expecting before.
Top Dragon still on that Genji. Dreamers forced all the way back, rotating. Down up on top. And Euphoria is still keeping all the members alive on point. First take.
Top Dragon with that Zarya barrier. Saw taking out Heesung means probably that it's going to be reset for the side of Euphoria.
I think Euphoria should be feeling okay, or just okay. That's a near full team wipe now. But still,
is this going to be a stagger? Oh, that's going to be a stagger.
Yeah, Cassidy finally going down, but still not too bad. One tick. He respawns right next to the point. We'll see.
I'm not really sure about this May pick here, but like my personal opinion is that having a Symmetra would be a little bit better in terms of mobility, but
yeah, if you look at the entire team comp, yes.
Yeah, but again, even with the May, the Reinhardt, we've seen that the Reinhardt
is like grab against Surge! What a barrier from Esther!
That was a very nice barrier from Esther, but not enough to save Narong here. Top Dragon takes that Narong, but also is at the cost of his life. But health bars on Euphoria very low all across the board, and even though Dreamers lost Top Dragon, they should probably be very confident in thwarting the attacks of Euphoria.
Put onto a corner, has nowhere else to go.
Oh man, May, poor May there, staggered.
Go back home to the respawn.
So Euphoria, yes, they have the Blizzard, but that requires, in order for the Blizzard to be very effective, they have to take position on the point first, and which is, I don't think Dreamers is going to allow them to do it.
Just going to go towards a shorter path, towards the roof, as there are no teleports. And look, okay, early Deadeye.
The Deadeye takes out Misen!
And the Blizzard on
Top
the point.
Dragon
is doing so much work! Oh,
yes,
man,
the Blizzard was there, but not enough. Top Dragon showing why he is the prime Genji in Contenders here. And he makes his mark on the statue.
Okay, I do agree now. That may, at this point, like for the later points, maybe, when the payloads start pushing, but okay, now here's Heesung. That Shatter ready to go.
This Shatter has to be effective here. Jasmine already approaching his second Graviton Surge.
Very
and
quickly charged up.
100 energy. That's gonna be
very catches a two.
That's gonna be a big force of destruction there. Yeah, Top Dragon taken down, so it's a window of opportunity for Euphoria, but however, Tejo falls as well.
Keep it up. For the push. Jasmine's still alive somehow.
Sunjun takes that sad, but I don't think that's going to be enough for Euphoria to take the point.
Man, this Dada Lucio is something.
Yeah, like this Dada
should have died a long time ago.
And not only just the survivability, but the aggression for Dada was really, really important because Top Dragon fell.
Hey, 8 seconds! What? The time...
He's on touches. Oh, answer falls! He had that sound barrier, that must have been key!
Full hold. 1 tick.
Oh my goodness!
Wait, oh no. Did I miss something? I don't
Not
think
really.
I missed anything.
Not to my knowledge.
I stopped blinking during the entire game.
Well, this is what happened while you blinked.
I guess we'll have some more time to watch a replay here. Top Dragon, Blade, Cassidy. So the Blizzard, okay, it goes off.
So Dreamers actually really played this really well because they knew that the Taejong's Mei would have the Blizzard, so they made the aggression right before EUPHORIA was on the point because they knew that it was going to be very difficult when EUPHORIA had positions on the point, and when the Blizzard's on the point, they would be zoned out. So that would give them more time on the point, and they would not be able to contest. So they made the aggression and forced out Taejong's Blizzard before outside the point, and Top Dragon's Dragon Blade just danced around the point.
Yeah, that's why it felt like it was very early. And now Dreamers, all they had to do is to cap the points, and that will be it. Basically, I'm very surprised, not surprised, impressed by Jasmine's Zarya. Did not really die too many. Was giving great covers to Top Dragon, first of all. And high energy all the time means that you're doing a great job off screen.
So this is going to be the challenge now for Dreamers. Oh, that's a big anti-nade. So that's going to delay a few seconds, but I think that delayed about 5 to 6 seconds of Dreamers push. But they're already on the flank.
You have to stop it. It's slightly more than 1 tick.
You simply cannot allow this to happen.
That's GG. That's game. EUPHORIA, 3 men down.
He's
Top Dragon, but Genji
on
comes
the
back
point, but
quickly.
only for Desperate, and that's gonna be it.
Contesting, and there's that maximum BM.
Oh, wait, how many seconds did that even cost?
20 seconds ish. That is Dreamers.
Wow.
Now with map number 2, King's Row gone. So even with King's Row, Zarya works when you're having such a moment with your teammate.
Well, remember, the difficulties of the Zarya comp on King's Row is that you don't have access to high ground, but things are very different when you only have to take 1 tick and a half. And so they sneaked down on Hotel, and they were threatening. They were threatening EUPHORIA to come down to the point. They give up high ground, and EUPHORIA was a little bit too late to give up high ground. Because EUPHORIA was like, hey, we're defending, and they're a Zarya comp, and this is King's Row. We want to stay on high ground, but Dreamers were like, really? You only have a tick and a half, guys, and that's how they won the map.
Yeah, it was very different how EUPHORIA felt in that King's Row. It did feel like they had a lot to mash up together, and they were working against each other in a lot of those moments, and they were supposed to press on the weakness onto Zarya, which we weren't able to see too much on that King's Row. Now, EUPHORIA will get another map choice. Will this be the real chance? We'll see about that in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone, as we head into map number 3, and at this rate, unknown, I might believe in unicorns at the end of the day.
Hey,
Dreamers
I have been a Dreamers. Hey, I have been a Dreamers believer ever since Overwatch the knockouts.
So you believe in unicorns already?
I do.
Oh, okay.
And I believe in the dream, but yeah, we also do have to credit EUPHORIA here. Yes, they kind of fumbled on that defense on the side of King's Row, but still, they still have they do show glimpses of brilliance here. So I think as long as they have to remember the good times. They have to remember how they won that round 1 on Antarctic Peninsula. They have to understand what their win conditions are, what Dreamers' win conditions are, and they want to play by their book, their rules, not EUPHORIA's rules, not Dreamers.
Yep, can you really do the same when that Top Dragon Genji is just harassing you all over the place?
I think it might be possible, especially on Sorabasa here, which is, I think, also a very reasonable pick here. But that kind of requires, for me, I think that requires some sort of extra mobility. So you need to be more mobile and more versatile than Dreamers. And I think one part of the puzzle might be the Symmetra.
You're looking into that teleport comp, and maybe they can deliver, but it is Flashpoint, so you keep on stressing, and you can't stress even more than that, as mobility is key here. But I'm sure Dreamers will actually follow a lot more now. Even with the same comp, Euphoria should be matching. If they needed some, I'm sure this is their own map. Euphoria should have something up their sleeves.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
trust.
yes, Streamers probably would have a means to kind of follow up. But what I mean by Euphoria needing more mobility is that because the win conditions of the two compositions are very, very different. Euphoria wants to, like, Dreamers wants to send your Genji Top Dragon into your face, and this is just like the same thing all over again. You want to send your Genji, have your Genji harass, and maybe pick up a kill or two, and at the same time get like charge energy for your Zarya. And Euphoria, they just don't want to give the range distance for that Genji dash. And still want to do damage. That means they have to go essentially a poke composition, but Euphoria is switching things up a little bit, and they're going with the Doofus.
Yeah,
so
not just a little
Euphoria
bit.
is going to be the one on their faces.
Yeah, Sunjin now on tank, on Doofus. Sierra, Taejong, both on DPS, and with a big face down on the ground from Euphoria, it will be the start as Dreamers start their tick. Top Dragon trying to prove his name.
So this is like very interesting take on Euphoria. So what they're basically doing is they are trying to, this is a variation of a dive comp, right? So Sunjun goes in with the Doofus. Taejong also follows up, maybe even Naran and Surge. So that puts a lot of pressure on Jasmine. But this means Chop Dragon has just unlimited access to Sierra. So as long as Jasmine or the backline of Dreamers survive long enough, Top Dragon and Sad will be able to take down Euphoria one by one.
Yes. Yeah, this will be... Yeah, with this type of team comp from Euphoria, it has to be a messy fight. Unless the dive is perfect, but Dreamers, they're not going to let that happen. And especially kind of weird because if there is no Zarya, I would look at the team comp of Euphoria and say, okay, they can focus on one or two individually and get the picks. But when there's that extra source of protection, the bubble from Zarya, is this even possible? So immediately Euphoria, after losing that point,
yeah, Euphoria was like, nah, this ain't it, and they go back. They're actually
we had
going with the Zarya.
Why it wasn't supposed to work against the team comp of Dreamers. Now, after that, having a couple of ultimates ready.
So now this is going to be a
Blade.
Oh wait a second. Top Dragon with the blade.
Immediately when it's ready.
But it's Sad taking all the kills.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, just slashing the air. You can slash the space.
Oh, that was a good mortality field by Missing here. And so what I wanted to say is that yes, with that swap to the Zarya, Taejong is going to have a different role. Because with the Doofus, Taejong's Tracer's role, okay, never mind. Because the Tracer role was supposed to be diving with the Doofus, and paired with the Zarya.
Yep.
I was about to say the Tracer is now going to take on the role of Genji, but using less resources because of the option of the recall. However, Taejong is following suit with the Genji, so it's going to be almost a mirror comp with the only difference being the Kiriko and the Baptiste.
Bastion with that Matrix is one powerhouse for sure. Sad was saying, okay, I can use this angle to maybe do some more action. Euphoria back on their feet, but still already 60% plus for Dreamers. So they actually get in.
Yeah, Euphoria has ult advantage, so they absolutely need to make this happen because not making this work means that it's going to be 2-0 on Surabasa already.
Plus barrier, everything used for Euphoria. Coming up with no extra kills.
Respond. Dada very low despite that. Dada is down. Sierra very, very low. However, is able to be sustained.
Well,
Sunjun takes out Jasmine, so it looks like it is going to be a fight win for Euphoria unless there's any heroics on the side of Dreamers, which is not probably going to happen. However, G-Club, this was an expensive fight for Euphoria.
It was, and it's already, because they Dreamers were able to stall that much of a time, it's already 99%. But the thing is, Euphoria, they still have ult advantage in terms. All they have to be careful is Dreamers, Dragon Blade, Top Dragon, and so far Taejong has been doing okay amount of work.
Yeah, so like you said, Chico, they still have one more turn when they're actually leading.
Oh,
Graviton Surge!
It's supposed to catch the Genji, but it did not hit.
It doesn't matter because they're killing everyone.
Was that fast finger from Sunjun? Because just to catch Genji in that room?
I thought that was kind of like a jump scare ultimate from Jasmine, but in the end, like they won that fight with just that ultimate. So like Jasmine could be like, I mean, you know, I fat fingered, but we still won the fight. So it's almost like as same as that ultimate. I did a good Graviton Surge and we won because of that Graviton Surge. So maybe they can just, you know, consider it like that way. But in the end, if you look at the ultimates on both sides, it's now Dreamer's turn because both of them have both of them actually have Dragon Blade, but Misten will be able to have that early aggression just like this.
He fights a lot of damage from
Taejong down. That means no Dragon Blade. Only Top Dragon has Dragon Blade now. They probably don't even need it.
Sierra at that moment gave up. For a second, just kill me already. I want to go back to spawn.
Yeah, I don't want to get staggered. Jasmine being very impressive here. Like, look at the energy numbers on the side of on Jasmine here. Like, that's basically a third DPS playing there.
Here's Taejong trying to flip the things, but the bubble kept both Genjis
popping the blade. To be honest, not a lot of profit on both sides.
And both sides waiting, Shira. They're overclocked.
Oh, that was a nice ultimate on the side of Sad. So 4v4.
Yeah, one gone.
Euphoria has sound barrier.
Okay, quick flip to Euphoria, but the
sound barrier, but Neuron doesn't get.
Oh man.
Now it's Status' turn. That's going to be extra sustain for Dreamers. This is going to be time. This is probably going to be last fight territory-ish, I think.
Did the barrier come out from Surge? Because certainly it was
pressed. It did. Surge did use that sound barrier, and it covered everyone except Neuron. And Neuron fell. That was unfortunate there.
Unfortunate years early. Matrix, because you just have to go in. Now or never, 0 point for Euphoria. Okay, that's why Surge is here. But you lose the entire team.
I think it's okay.
Better for Euphoria, this max energy, Sunjun. Dreamers finally going down.
Okay, so Euphoria used their ult advantage to keep themselves alive in the map, and Dreamers, they still, like, they're okay with it. They probably have one more fight in them, unless they get caught out here. But they should definitely be able to contest.
Yep. Currently, Taejong's Genji has been much better.
He's taken down. And Taejong's blade would be probably enough. No! Well, it's not enough, but Sierra uses that.
It's Sierra with the 4th kill already. The team fight's over. Yeah, Taejong bought all the attention by himself, but in the meantime, Sierra did all the work.
Yeah, okay, so Taejong did not get anything valuable from any meaningful kills from the Dragon Blade. However, like you said, G-Clef, he absorbed all the aggro, so it gave Sierra enough space and time to take out the entirety of Dreamers. So, okay, they're still in it.
Now 2-1, Dreamers still on a big match point. Map point and the match point, Euphoria down a few ultimates, but you can trust on Sierra
with the ultimate.
So going to rotate off to the side. Still 4 seconds left until the point unlocks.
A little bit of positional pressure, but did not lead to any kills.
Now here
Sierra has that overclock.
Dreamers, they do get the first cap.
So EUPHORIA needs to make any picks.
Grab the surge early. Keeping that Zarya in. Can you get the kill? Jasmine's still alive. Top Dragon does go down. And it should be EUPHORIA with continuous attack. The window is
They
up.
absolutely had to.
Oh,
wait a
Jasmine.
second here.
Hold up. Now they need to kill. Green Barrier coming up from Surge. The EUPHORIA, that teamfight was wonders. Dreamers. I thought it was possible for them to keep on pressing, but that's 49% and it'll be stopped.
That was a good Graviton Surge if you just look at it in an isolated event. But to be honest, I think as a team, they should have probably waited until they regroup and used it with the Dragon Blade.
Yes.
Because they already Dreamer. If you look at the percentage here, they already had 49%. And if they used it in combination with the Top Dragon's Dragon Blade, it would have probably had them up to 80%-ish. But no matter. No damage done because Top Dragon was able to take down at least 3 members of EUPHORIA and it's going to be a flip once again.
Yeah, enough with just one ultimate. And Genji,
it was
2 HP.
Because Dada is at 8% on his ultimate right now. Probably the sound barrier was used.
Oh, when did that happen? Well, probably right before or so, maybe just to keep Jasmine alive, or who knows?
So remember, not having that sound barrier is going to be very crucial because EUPHORIA, Taejong is approaching his own Dragon Blade. Sod falls, which is not going to help Dreamer's cause.
90%.
Taejong low! Taejong needs to survive!
Very close. Dreamers still contesting. No Genji, immediately wrapped to the blade. Won't be available.
So
Top
EUPHORIA
Dragon
will not be able to take any value from that blade. Overtime.
Okay,
EUPHORIA, this is now or never.
Sierra keeps the fight on going.
Jasmine is very close to the Graviton Surge.
Immediately
The Graviton Surge is there.
Grab Sunjin and Sierra's gone along with it, and that will be it. Dreamers 3-0 win against EUPHORIA. And what a display of the unicorn power.
Well, we definitely kind of saw this coming, but not in this kind of fashion because we saw previous matches, like we saw a lot of teams that we thought that would be very, very favorites into the match. Kind of, yes, they did. We had this kind of situation where, yes, the favorites won, but they weren't as immortal as we thought they would be. But Dreamers right now, yes, I'm not saying that EUPHORIA was bad. That's how... That makes it more and more impressive because yes, EUPHORIA was impressive, but Dreamers beat EUPHORIA in a dominant fashion.
Certainly, Dreamers were much more collected overall, all 3 maps, and the team fights we could see clear signs of what they wanted to do in each fight. But from EUPHORIA, maybe because it was an issue of a lot more members being changed, it felt like the messiness was always there during the team fight. Well, and maybe they need to collect a few more things along with on this journey, because this journey will be 2 weeks at least. But if they want to go to the playoff, they better do it now.
Yeah, I guess I agree there was a little bit of disorientation a little bit on the side of EUPHORIA and Dreamers. Like, they didn't have as much. The only change was Jasmine on their roster. However, I think it was more of an impressive Dreamers performance than the EUPHORIA kind of flopping. And here's the player of the match for you, Jasmine. None other than Jasmine, the new kid in town, new kid on the block for Dreamers.
Jasmine says, and Zarya tracking on point, bubbles on point, grab the surge, pretty good.
I think what was really impressive about Jasmine, was of course his mechanics on Zarya was also on point, but his tactical awareness on what his team's win conditions were and what he needed to do as the Zarya in this composition was so much on point.
If you can, all those Zarya players are out there will know and say, how is this guy still alive? After your
and also, look at his energy numbers. Like, he's always 75 and up. And this last Graviton Surge made sure that no one was there to contest. Yes, it did not lead into any kills.
Just outside of the line.
Yeah, outside, denied any potential touches. So, what a performance from Dreamers, and this is... Well, this is your results from today's game. Yes, we had 0 versus Revival early on. 0, yes, Revival put up a good fight, but 0 proving that, hey, if a potential stronger team, quote-unquote better team, uses the Orisa poke comp, then they can keep the Genji Zarya comp at bay, winning in a 3-0 fashion. And, well, to be honest, SPG versus JNGK was epic.
We had a lot of epic games today, especially the Flashpoints. Some epic moments. And here's the updated standings for Group A and B. Only the top 3. So draw a line right below that number 3. So currently looks like Panthera Revival is going to be real tough for them to climb up to that spot for Group A. And for Group B, oh, EUPHORIA. And man, it's going to be real tough as we do have some teams with a 2-0 now after some more games being played.
Yeah, especially if you look at the map differentials here, it looks like the teams that are at the bottom of the table will be having pretty hard time trying to struggle to make that third place happen. And I think PokerFace, 0, Dreamers, and SPG should be pretty confident, especially PokerFace, 0, and Dreamers, because look at their map differentials, G-Club, 6, 5, and 6. SPG a little bit less so at 3, but still they should be pretty feeling good about having 2 wins. But I think the 3 teams that I mentioned, PokerFace, 0, and Dreamers, should be pretty much favorites to make it on at least the top 3, and SPG, depending on the next matchups, if you see Lemix already at 0-2, if SPG makes it manages to win over Lemix, they should not be their worries about their low map differential should be gone.
Yep, the map differential, because the team only gets to play 4 matches because of 5 teams in a group, and this will be the schedule for next week. Only 2 matches, actually 1 from Group A, Group B. We'll have the 2 teams that's at the lowest spot of the standings so far, and this day should be able to determine if they will for sure be staying at the bottom or some chances of moving up to at least 2nd or 3rd spot in the group.
Yeah, both teams that are desperately needing for their first win of the season, and their opponents are not by any means pushovers. Lemix going against SPG, who's been today, who won in a very, I guess, epic battle after against JNGK. Those kind of close wins. Yes, it was a 3-1, but I think that was one of the closest matches in this season so far. And winning those kind of clutch matches, especially that second to last point on Storavasa, those are the kind of matches that kind of give you morale boost, that kind of give you momentum. So it's going to definitely be an uphill battle for Lemix as well. Yeah, Panthera should not be on the bottom. Panthera should not be there, but reality is that they are 0-2 and that desperately need some sort of footing to get their hopes up for at least seed number 3. I don't think
it's hard with a -5.
I don't think they're mathematically possible. It's mathematically possible for them to get first, right?
So the best they can do is 2-2 with a +1. So
probably not.
Probably not. I think we're talking maybe like 10% or maybe around that number. But
I think a realistic goal is going to be 3rd for Panthera.
Yes, that should be their goal at the moment with a 0-2, but we'll see. As this was only week number 1. Still, some teams like that Genji Zarya, some teams not really willing to try that at all. Some teams changing in the middle says, okay, you guys win with the team comp, so let's bring the same team comp and try to win of our own. So far, some teams able to do so, some teams not being able to do so. So we'll see how that pans out, because we'll have, for Fall Series Korea at least, there will be a few days of break, and then we'll come back next week on Monday with EFC.
But we will not having a break today. Well, tonight
today,
as well.
Yes. Today we do need a break, but tomorrow APAC is going to come back.
Yeah, of course. And we also, I do want to shout out to another, I guess, we have next week, we have some exciting news coming because yes, Paul and LaFon, we have not only Paul and LaFon, but we also have Opara and Papadaka coming in for both Contenders Korea and APAC. So as much as I am going to be miscasting But I will be here tomorrow, and I know that Contenders will be in good hands, at least for next week. So
Always in good hands.
yeah, very exciting.
Yes, as we had somewhat of a faster day compared to the other days. Fall
course.
Series Korea will continue, guys. Keep on watching all the contenders that you love. You love Overwatch too. Thanks for coming, and thanks for watching Fall Series Korea. We'll see you then.